It was only when smelling a whiff of alcohol on my husband's body that I finally realized why he was suddenly willing to be intimate with me. It turned out that he was drunk and mistook me for another woman. The next morning, I woke up with such pain that I could barely get out of bed. I turned to look at the man sleeping beside me, holding me in his arms. Tears welled up in my eyes. This was the closest we had been since our marriage, but only because he thought I was someone else. Amelie, I whispered to myself. She was the one lying in the hospital, the woman who needed blood. I got up, ignoring the pain, and began tidying the room. I smiled bitterly to myself, realizing I could no longer deceive myself. When Joseph woke up, he had a slight headache. He rubbed his temples and noticed the room was a bit messy. I sat on the couch, pale and staring blankly into space. There was a piece of paper and a pen on the coffee table. His gaze fell on the red marks on my neck, and he frowned. "You're awake," I heard his voice, looked up, and replied calmly, "Yeah." Joseph got out of bed, buttoning up his shirt as he coldly said, "I was drunk last night. I'll make it up to you, if you want anything." Just before he could finish, I stood up, still calm, and said, "Joseph, let's get a divorce." "What?" He thought last night had hurt me and patiently repeated, "I told you I'd make it up to you." Stop being dramatic. Though Joseph had been forced to marry me, I hadn't caused him any trouble in the past year, letting his life remain relatively peaceful. What happened last night was just an accident. I bit my lip and repeated in an emotionless tone. I said, "Let's get a divorce." I then picked up the paper and pen from the coffee table and handed them to him. "Sign it, and we'll go to the civil office." Joseph looked at me coldly, a sarcastic smile forming on his lips. "Fine, as long as you don't regret it." The divorce process was quick. When I walked out of the civil office with 2 divorce certificates, I felt surprisingly calm. Ending the marriage this way felt unreal. Standing by the roadside, I tried to hail a cab. That's when I saw Joseph's car slowly pull up in front of me. His expression was distant as he said, "Amelie's in critical condition again. Come with me to the hospital." Amelie, I thought bitterly to myself. It was her again. Clenching my fists, I took a deep breath and expressionlessly opened the back door and got in. Joseph drove fast, clearly anxious. The car stopped at the hospital entrance. I slammed the door shut. As I got out, when I looked up and met Joseph's eyes, I said the words I'd been holding back for so long. "This is the last time." Joseph frowned, surprised. The once gentle and obedient woman now had an air of authority. After donating blood, I held my arm, feeling faint. I had anemia and always felt lightheaded after seeing blood, but I never told anyone. Back when Joseph told me that both Amelie and I had Rh-negative blood, he promised to marry me if I agreed to donate blood whenever she was in danger. It was an offer I couldn't refuse because I loved him. The door of room 402 had the patient's name on it, Amelie Hamilton. Joseph was nowhere to be seen, not even in the room. Amelie wasn't lying in bed but was sitting up watching TV. When she saw me enter, her smile slowly faded. She picked up the remote and turned off the TV, putting on a show. I sneered, "You're not very good at pretending. You look pretty energetic for someone supposedly in critical condition." I pressed my lips together, my eyes filled with anger. "What are you doing here?" Amelie asked.